guys, what's up guys, 76 here today, and welcome back to an episode of How to Build a Cruise Ship in Minecraft. And today, we will be working on the conference centers, which should take up the rest of this part of the deck. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the conference center basically is a place to the ship where businesses can hold meetings if a business was on a cruise ship for whatever reason. And it can also hold events as well. So that's kind of the point. So the idea is that they're essentially big rooms full of chairs. And a stage, perhaps. And yep, that's a conference room. So you can also be a boardroom, whatever you really want it to be, but usually it's just so that businesses can have some meetings going on, and also it could be like for concert or like I know that Carnival does a magic show in theirs, but you know it just kind of really depends on the cruise line. But I do know most cruise ships have them, or all the ones I've been on have them, so that is the reason why I'm putting it on this one. So as you can see, I'm already getting ahead, and I'm starting off making out the wall. And as you see, I'm doing that wood paneling that I've been doing the entire series to stay with the consistency and the theme of the ship. So I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to go all the way around there. Do the same thing, because consistency is key. But also, like I said, always put a little bit of change. But a little bit of change is going to be inside the conference room itself. So as you see, it is going to be a pretty big room. But the thing is, I'm going to make two of them, because usually you don't just want one, because there could be two events going on at the same time. And a conference room is a really good place to do that. So that is the reason for that. I'm going to go ahead and make the wood go there, and then I'm going to make the sandstone start there. So that's kind of a shift in pattern, but still staying consistent with that side of the room and the atrium. So go ahead and continue to do this all the way around. That. Alright. And I'll put in some lights, which again I'm using beacons, because beacons typically look better. We're going to make this the door area. Actually, no, we're not. Not that one. No. We'll figure it out. No. There. We'll figure that out in a minute. Okay. We'll do that. And that. And then that. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in this wall as well, because you got to remember, you want it to be all the way around the wall, because it'd look kind of stupid if it wasn't. If this is just a white wall, which white walls are just hideous. Just don't even do it unless you're building a house. Even then, if you're building a house, I wouldn't even do it, but yep, that's up to you. Okay, so we'll do that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put in some windows actually right there and right there. So I'll go ahead and get some glass. We'll get that one and fill that in. And just so that we have a little bit of different stuff going in the room, so it's not completely enclosed. And again, you can get yourself some carpets as a windowsill. So, not that way. We want a gray carpet, like that. And there we go. So, and then you want to split it in half. So, let's see. I believe this is roughly dead center. But it doesn't really matter. If one's bigger than the other, oh well. Oh, you know what? Actually, I do want it to be one over. It's then it'll line up with the windows and look even. So we'll do that. Just like that. There we are. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead with the center wall. And you don't have to have two of them, it's just that I would if I were you, just because you can hold more events at the same time. And with a cruise ship, you don't have that much space on a cruise ship, so you have to utilize as much as you possibly can. And that's the reason why I do this. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and make the entrance to them. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see what I want the entrance. The first one will be right here. I'm going to get rid of that beacon, just because it'll look stupid. And over here, I'm going to add the other entrance. So there you go, now they're kind of both at each end. So it makes somewhat sense. I'm going to go ahead and get some stairs. And there's some detail that you can add to your ship if you would like. So above the doorway, you can go ahead and add some stairs. And it just kind of makes it look a little bit nicer. It makes it look a little bit more organized. Really whatever you would like it to be. So we'll go ahead and do that. This kind of looks goofy, so we'll just put that there. Well, we'll make this 3 wide. How about that? Well, see, this is the real life struggle, people. So you can either make that, well, you know what, we'll just extend this. We'll just make this one 4 blocks long. I see he's gonna drive me crazy, but whatever. Okay, so there we go. So now we have either room. So, like I said, essentially, you just want it to be like a main point. So, this one I'm gonna set up to be like a conference for a business, if you will, or something. So we'll go ahead and get some stone. Then we'll make the presenter's desk right up here, so you know they're all looking at them. And then you just want to essentially just put the chairs down accordingly. So go ahead and do that. And notice how they're not perfectly aligned. I see people put them perfectly aligned a lot, and granted it looks neat, but here's the thinking, is that if you're sitting behind someone, you're not going to be able to see the desk. You're not going to be able to see the thing in front of you. So the idea is that you put the chairs spaced out like this, and then every other one is equal, because then you have a decent idea. So that's just kind of the idea behind that. If you were wondering why these aren't perfectly even, this is the pattern that I use. It goes 3, 4, 3, 4. If you wanted to use that, it's a pretty much good idea. So I'm going to also teach you how to put some more detail into your chairs, because a lot of chairs look stupid when they look like this. So if you want to, you can add these picture frames on the side. And as you can see, what does it make? It makes armchairs. Yes, indeed, it makes armchairs. So I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to sit here and do, well, actually, yeah, let's do it. Let's go ahead and quickly add armchairs. As you can see, it doesn't take too long, just as long as you can aim right. But as you see earlier, I screwed up a little bit, because I accidentally put one in front of the chair, but whatever. Go ahead and do that. And do that. Oop, there we are, do that. So yeah, so this just, it all in all just makes it look more detailed, and that's what you're aiming for sometimes, most of the time in a cruise ship. Not sometimes, most of the time. Really in anything, it's just that much more impressive. And this didn't just go for cruise ships, you can use this in anything. Yeah, remember, a lot of stuff you learn in the series don't just go towards cruise ships, they can go towards a lot. Then you can also add a desktop like that, and there you go, you have a meeting room and a conference room. So there you are on that one. And you know, it's actually pretty much the same on the other side, believe it or not. I mean, there really isn't that much different, you know, other than the fact that you can make it into a show or something if you want to. Which even then, if you want to make it into like a magic show, you can even do this. You just have like the 2 chairs up here, and I don't know. I might just remember the magician on board the Carnival Magic, or on board Carnival Valor. You know, they might have a chair up there. They might have their magician's desk. I don't know. But then they pretty much have like the whole audience. It's kind of spaced out a little bit with the audience. So you do that. Oops. I don't know, this is just something you can do. So as you see, then it kind of adds like the magician's thing up there. If you want to just put one chair, and you want to do something, I don't really know. That's just what I saw on the cruise ship. So if you want to do that, you can. And again, I'm going to go through and put the chairs. And this is the thing, is that if you only if you only make these chairs detailed on one side, it's going to look kind of sloppy, and it's going to be like, oh, well, this guy didn't really pay that much attention, you know, only did it on one side. So if you're going to do these detailed chairs, do it on both conference rooms if you have 2 conference rooms, or if you have like 3, then do it on all 3. Just make sure that they're consistent, because they're somewhat the same. Each of these rooms serve the same purpose, and you know, it's essentially a lot of them just, yeah, they just serve the same purpose. I don't know what else there is to say. So as you can see, they both have a massive amount of chairs in them, and they both have a main centerpiece in the middle, and I saw that from a mile away. Okay, I'm going to put a beacon right here, so there's more light. So there we go. So now we have the 2 conference rooms, and that was pretty simple. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of the upper promenade, so that we have something else to do, because this would be really short if I only did the conference rooms. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this side paneling over here. And again, this does look good in the end. It really does look good in the end. So just, I know it's kind of a pain, but you will be thanking yourself later if you choose to do this. So we'll do that. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to extend this over there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put sandstone all the way down. Like this. Oh wait, that one's not, that's, I messed up. OCD is going crazy right now. Now we go there, and then there. No. There we go. Okay, so that means that this one's actually open. Okay, sorry, dirt moment right there. Just make sure that they're each spaced out by 3, because you know how I get when they're not. Okay, and then right there, I'm just going to kind of make the merging point right there, where it changes. Go ahead and do that. I'm going to do this on every other one, like that. And then on these ones, I'm going to make these windows. So it kind of adds like a pattern between window, like light window, so it adds some sort of variety-ish. So do that, put these through. Oops, didn't place that one quite right, did I? Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put down the glass. And also notice how on this part of the ship, I'm making all the windows the same. The reason I'm doing that is just because it's an architectural consistency. And that's just what I like to do. I like it to be consistent. You can make them different, but I think it looks unprofessional personally. But, you know, it's up to you. Alright, so there we go. Now, time for the floors, because these floors are relatively blank, like my soul. So, I'm going to go ahead and click these rooms, and I'm going to go ahead and just set these to a whole bunch of wood. So, /set 5, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 5. And there we go. It looks significantly better-ish now. Okay. But I am going to actually continue this pathway down, just because I do like kind of the way it looks. So I'm going to go ahead, make the pathway all the way down. And again, the reason we put the pathway is so that people know where to walk, or at least it just kind of makes a sense of direction almost. I don't know. I just put it down because it looks nice. So continue to do that down here. Oops. I'll make like a curve right there. I'm going to make this go all the way to that wall because I want to put a bench back there. So we'll just do that. And as well as put it right there. And then we'll make one right there. So that it looks like an entrance. Then we'll make this go out this way. Pretty much just making a whole pathway. That's essentially what I'm doing right now. And this one will line up with this one. And then voila. It's perfect. Alright, so I believe this is 5-2, so fill 5 to 40 maybe? Is 40 enough? I don't think 40 is enough. Nope, it is. Okay. So we go. Now we have a whole pathway going on there, so woohoo. Okay. So what else is it going to do? Oh yeah. So see right here where it kind of has like it changes colors. The way you can make this look better is actually just by adding a couple slabs like this. Of course, that doesn't go my way. But so see, it just kind of makes a whole shift in the ship almost. Like it just makes a whole shift of pattern. And even if you want to, you can even make this pop out if you want to. I'm not going to, but you could if you want to even be more separated. And you don't do it on this side though, because you can see this side remains light all the way down, so you don't really have to worry about that so much. I'm gonna go ahead and add a window right there because I want one there. Window. Okay. And actually, yeah, let's put a beacon right there. Or yeah, right there. Okay, we'll put a beacon right there. Okay, so there we are. Now we have finished the paneling on all sides, and it actually does not look too bad. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add down some benches. So I'm gonna get some nether. I haven't used that yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that just as a kind of change of pace. So right here, I'm gonna add one. I don't know why, I just want to add one right there. Yeah, I just think it looked nice. So that's the reason behind that one. But down here, you can like add them. They just pretty much look good, especially in a business center if people are waiting for something like a show or a meeting. They can just sit down and have a break instead of having to stand and wait in line. You know, no one likes doing that. No one likes waiting in line. That's boring. I mean, unless you're one of those weird people that likes it, but I've never heard of someone that likes waiting in line. That would just be sad. Can you imagine just going up to someone and saying, "Oh yeah, I like waiting in line. It's my hobby. I like waiting in line." No. Okay. So there we go. Now we've added those. And again, yes, I'm gonna be. Oh, whoa! Did you see that mouse glitch right there? That was weird. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead, get some Ender Eye, and you're not gonna. We're not leaving this concept behind. We are keeping the concept of these trees because I like the trees, and I am a fan of greenery in the ship, as I've said multiple times before. But I just like it. It looks so good, and you know I don't care who denies it. It does look good. It makes the ship look significantly more detailed and significantly more eco-friendly. Even though this thing is a pollution monster holding like what? How much did we put in it? Like 5 V12s? I don't even know. So yeah, I'm gonna do it right there, and there, and there. It might be an overkill, but you know what? It's fine because it looks nice. And trees are friendly. Trees are our friends and somewhat food. So there we go. There's trees, and I wish I could add one somewhere back here, but unfortunately space doesn't allow it. You know what? We're going to make space allow it. We can put one right there. It'll just be up against the wall covering the beacon. So there we go. Look at that, a tree. Everyone happy? Yes, trees. Trees. And we're going to put one right there, too. You know why? Because we can. There we go. Look at that. Another tree. So now it looks somewhat detailed, and it's nice looking. So, again, you're going to want to label your stuff because some people may not know what this is. You know, it's just a room with chairs in it. You know, how are they supposed to know? So, go... How do you spell conference? Did I spell conference? Probably not. Conference, and then we'll put center, like that. And since I'm too lazy to actually type it all out again, there you go, copy. And I'm going to go over and paste. Yep, that's laziness. Okay, you also want to add some doors, of course, because it's somewhat separation, right? That, add the doors. You can make them open or close, whichever you want. I choose to leave them open because I like having the ship more open, and typically on real cruise ships, doors are almost always open. But it just enables it so that you can close them. And there we go. If you want to add more of these support beams, you can, like, just kind of add them, like, in places the ship needs separation, which this side I don't see in any need, but right there it could. Yeah, I think pretty much covers. I'm trying to think of what else I can put in there, but I think I pretty much covered everything. It looks nice. I mean, if you remember last episode, I told you to do this on the pillars. You can do that too on this side if you want to, like put it like on all these beams if you wanted. I mean, you could definitely do that. I can see that happening. You know, it's just a nice change of pace. I don't know. So there you go. It looks somewhat nice. You can see it as like holding it up. I have no idea. You can even put them down here if you wanted to. So yep, I'm just giving you guys ideas as you go. That's the whole point of the series, is to give you guys ideas. And that pretty much covers it, I do believe. Yep. So as you can see, we're actually getting closer and closer to the end, because once you get the rooms done, then we're gonna be on one last deck. So there we go. Thank you guys very much for watching. Tell me what you think of the series in the comments section below. I had some questions. People were asking when I'm going to do the rooms and the rest of the ship. Well, pretty much, if you guys haven't noticed my pattern, I am building from the bottom up. So we have to finish this deck, which we'll probably finish next episode. Hopefully this entire deck. I'm not too lazy. And then we will move on to the rooms, because the rooms are going to take a while. But we're going to do that all in one episode. So that's going to be a massive episode doing all these rooms. And it's really easy if you have World Edit. If you don't have World Edit, then, oh man, I am sorry for you. But yep, so thank you guys very much for watching. As always, have an awesome day.